one second.
Yeah, yes, sir. Now it's okay.
Okay.
Sir, PPT is not seen, okay?
Sorry.
PPT is not visible now.
What about now?
Let me check, sir. Just 1 minute. Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
One more question, Miss. Do the students have any network issues? Like, can I use the video, my own video, or do I need to switch it off?
No problem, sir.
Okay, I can use it, right? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
ഭയങ്കര ബഹളം. Sir, shall we start now?
Yes, yes, we can start. Yeah.
Greetings, everyone. I'm delighted to see everyone here, and especially our chief guest, and I'm more than excited to hear his words. So let's start straight away. And for the welcome speech, I would like to call Ms. Bindu K. Rajan, Assistant Professor, ECE Department. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Olivia. Good morning, everyone. It's my privilege to appear before you and welcome everyone present here. So, without further ado, I welcome our esteemed guest and speaker for the day, Mr. Nandan S. A warm welcome, you, sir, filled with hopes and dreams we all share. I'm delighted to offer you the most hospitable welcome we can. Welcome, sir. No event is successful without
Thank
its
you.
wonderful audience. So it's my immense pleasure to welcome you all to this session. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone finds this talk informative and interesting. Thank you. Have a good day.
Now, before we listen to our chief guest, let me introduce him to you. Mr. Nandan S. is currently working as the Assistant Professor in EC Department at LBS Institute of Technology for Women. He graduated with a BTech degree in EC from Kerala University and he did his Masters in Telecommunication from NIT Calicut. He previously worked with Cubus Technologies, Marbasilios College of Engineering Trivandrum, and LBS College of Engineering Kasaragod. He is also an active IEEE member and occupies the chair of the Student Activities Committee. Mr. Nandanes is also an active member in Internet Society, an international non-profit organization to provide leadership in Internet-related standards, education, and policy. Sir, I view it an honor to have you here. And now over to you.
Thank you. Thank you all for the brief introduction, and thanks again for this opportunity. Why? Because for me, I feel very much happy, and it's my privilege to be part of this webinar series organized by Jyoti Engineering College. I would like to thank the faculty members there, then my friend and colleague Naveen who worked behind organizing this particular thing for connecting me to interact with you people. So I am happy to share some of the points that I have in mind and I used to convey to my students who prepare for campus recruitments. So the topics or the things that I am going to share here today is from my own experience and not from any other source or anything like that. So this is a very simple technique for that I use to convey to my students to crack or to pass campus recruitments. All right, so straight away we will start. Today's session in another 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes. I will try to convey some of the tips and some of the tricks that you need to follow before attending campus recruitments. And hope you all know that we are actually going through a very unprecedented crisis situation, right? So we don't know what will happen in another couple of months. We don't know how the world will react to that, and you people might be knowing even in the education sector itself, we are moving to a virtual world. So similarly, coming to all field, you can see some ups and downs, and we as faculty members as well as the as well as students of various technical institutes of Kerala, we are closely observing the industry, how industry will respond to the current pandemic situation. So we are all eagerly waiting to know how job market will be responding to this particular situation. So one thing is very clear that things are not going to be very smooth, right? So that's very obvious. Why? Because some of the sectors definitely will be going up, like healthcare or any other kind of similar related things. Definitely will be requiring more of will be requiring more talents or more opportunities will be there. But coming to some other sectors like transport or tourism or like that, I'm sure that we will be facing a little bit of downs there. So we are curiously waiting to know what will happen in the industry, and we would like to know more from the people from industry. We are interacting with them closely to know how the industry is going, how the industry is going to take actions to prevent any kind of crisis in their own field or sector. So this is nowadays happening, and you might have listened to various webinar series, or maybe some experts from industry or from the HR departments of various organizations. We used to interact with a lot of people. So based on the feedback, we have come to a conclusion that things are not going to be smooth in the couple of years that is in front of us. So we thought, like, it is very, very critical to convey what I should say, the scenario of the industry, as well as the things that the students need to get prepared before going to the job industry or job market, basically. So today in my session, I'm not going to explain about the industry or how industry will be fluctuating, not like that, but ask the students of your institute. Probably after 1 year, I understand that we have people here from 3rd years, we have people from 2nd years, I understand. So today in this session, I will try to tell you, probably after 2-3 years, once if you go and face campus recruitments, or maybe in generally any recruitment, that can be on-campus recruitment or any other different, maybe probably off-campus or pool recruitment drives. So if the students are going to attend those campus recruitment processes, then you need to be well prepared. Right. So I will share from my experience, from my knowledge that I gained from my seniors, my professors. I will try to share some points to you that I'm sure will definitely help you to crack campus recruitments, basically, or any job interviews, or the screening tests that is going to happen. Definitely all of you will be facing this kind of one selection process before entering the industry. That is definitely for sure. So let us see how well we can be prepared to manage or to overcome that hurdle, that screening process. All right. So I request everyone to closely watch or observe what I am sharing here today, and we can have some one-to-one discussions probably after this session. So for me it will take close to 1 hour, 15 minutes max to complete my presentation. So I will try to finish it within 1 hour itself. Don't worry. And if you have any questions, because questions are very, very critical here. So once if you have any questions, you can ask. Either you can type in the chat window, or probably the same method that you are following for other sessions. So straight away, I'm going to my topic, like some of the tips to crack the campus recruitments. All right. So all of you might have heard from your seniors that they might have placed in some of the companies that visited your campus, your on campus for the campus selection process. So I can say that basically you will face these 3 different, you can see my screen, you will face these 3 different types of recruitment drives. So I should say one is on campus recruitments, where the company will be directly coming to your campus, and company will conduct tests exclusively for you people, right, and not for other colleges or not for other people, right. That is on-campus recruitment, and that will be done through your career guidance and placement unit, through your placement cell. Now, the another type of recruitment that can happen, that you may face, will be pooled recruitments, where the company will be coming to a centralized location, maybe one particular college, and they will invite students from other colleges as well. So you will be attending this particular recruitment test or the process along with students from other colleges. Right? That is a pooled drive, where students from other colleges will also be there. And the third category is off-campus recruitments. Normally, these off-campus recruitments happen after your graduation. Most of the cases, not always, but normally after the graduation, where companies will be conducting off-campus recruitment drives. Probably sometimes in some of the institute, depending upon the facilities, or maybe in the company office itself. So you have to go there, you have to write the test, or maybe whatever defined by the company, and you have to attend the interview process to clear the selection process. So these are 3 different. So definitely, I'm very sure that you all, if you take a college, if you consider any college, I'm sure that more than 90% of the students will be very much interested to go directly to technical side. Very few will be going to some other non-technical or some other their own areas of interest. But in general, studies says that, right? I mean, more than 80% of the students definitely we have joined engineering just to get the to build our career, right? To get a job. So all of you will be going through that, and if you are going towards that direction, definitely you need to face these recruitment processes. You need to clear these recruitment processes. So that's a mandatory thing for all of you. All right. So I'm sure that you will face any of these three types of recruitment processes in future. Okay. Now, before starting, before going to this slide, let me tell you, once if you are very much interested in recruitment, campus recruitment, like you have to do something called pre-preparation, self-preparation. That is a very key factor here. So without self-preparation, nobody can clear the interview. Believe me, nobody. Maybe out of 1,000, 1 or 2, because of their by birth or talent skill that they have already. Otherwise, self-preparation is mandatory, and there is no other question in that. Self-preparation is mandatory, and this is something like a focused preparation, not like our university examinations. Like, don't consider this as a university. I'm very sure that all our students will be preparing for university examinations a couple of days before the exam. And that will never work out in the case of campus recruitments. That will never work out. Why? Because you need some other talents, you need some other skills that cannot be generated in 2-3 days. This has to be a long-term process. So you have to start your preparation right from your second year or third year onwards, focusing on this. It's not like a full-time preparation, but partially, probably like once in a week, or at least 3 to 4 days in a month, you have to spend some time right from your second year or third year, or second year onwards, preferably. That's better than, I'm sure, that coming to the beginning of campus recruitment. Normally, campus recruitments will be happening during your 7th semester. Right. Companies will be coming to your college normally during the 7th semester, and not before that. Probably very few will be coming before that. Right. So so if you can start your preparations right from your S5 onwards, I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure that coming after S7, you will have a job definitely in your hand. No doubt in that. And preparations will never go waste. Why? Because that many number of opportunities are there. Right. Since more opportunities are there, if you are prepared, you are equipped, somewhere you can clear the selection process. And if you don't do this preparation, then you will be in trouble. Right. So problems actually arises there if you don't have enough preparation. So now let me go to this slide. Let me tell you, first thing that you need to do is to do a research before preparations, or before starting your preparations, or before thinking of the recruitment process. First, do a research. All right. And identify some of the points. The first point is identify which all companies visit your college for placements. Right. That is a very key point. Like, if you are focusing on campus recruitment, right? So these off-campus or other things probably will be happening after that. Probably initially you will be facing on-campus recruitments, companies that are coming directly to your campus. So you go to your placement cell, or you inquire with your placement officer, and list out the companies that visited in the past, say, 4 or 5 years. Then you will get a better idea, or a better picture of the list of companies, or the range of companies that are coming to your college. And very important thing is to understand the recruitment procedures for each of the companies. And most of them is almost same. I will tell you the recruitment general process, but that will vary depending upon the companies. So what you need to do is to understand the recruitment procedure for each of the companies. Right? How the test will happen, how the interview will happen, how many rounds of interviews are there, whether it is technical, whether it is HR alone, these kind of things you have to identify and understand. And the third thing, don't disturb your placement officer by asking the third question, like, what is the general? But because I basically hate students continuously asking, like, what will be the number of vacancies that the company is looking for, the count they are looking for. These kind of questions are irrelevant. See, but why I have included here is, once if you come to know the general intake, not specific, the general intake of the companies, then you can identify mass recruiters as well as some very, focused companies which are looking for focused talents. So preparations for these two are actually different. I will tell you. All right. So just come to know whether they will recruit in bigger numbers or in smaller numbers. If it is in smaller numbers, remember, competition will be more, and you have to do that much preparations by yourself. And the last point is, what is eligibility criteria? Right? Whether you are eligible to sit for the company. Right? If you're not eligible, if you have a lot of back papers, then probably it will be a problem. Right? No, that depends. There are companies that permit back papers as well. No problem in that. But companies normally will give some percentage criteria as well as some back papers criteria. Normally, most of the companies. There are some companies where some exceptions are there. All right. So try to understand these things. Yeah. And the next is, let me tell you the different types of companies that normally come for campus recruitment. Right. So first category is, I should specifically mention the categories here 1, 2, 3. The first category is product companies. Product companies you might be knowing, like for example Google, Dell, whatever, Amazon. So they normally these companies normally come to Kerala colleges for campus recruitments. So what is the peculiarity in this? Product companies means they have a product. Customers will approach the company to buy their own product. That's product company. And believe me, extremely skilled people will get placed in these product companies. If you don't have technical knowledge, it's very difficult to get into these product companies, right? So that much of preparation or that much of technical skill you should have. That's mandatory, right? The second thing is IT or IT services company. That is the most of the companies that come into our campus will be in this services company. The first category is product company. Second is services. So services company means customer is the king. Customer or the client will approach the company for their customer's product to develop their product. For example, so suppose I'm running a bank. I need a software to manage all my transactions. Then I will approach one of the companies to do a banking software for me based on my requirements. That is a services company. Right. So customer is the king there. Client is the king there. Now the third is non-technical companies or roles. Normally, you might be knowing some call center jobs or probably kind of some non-technical marketing, sales, marketing kind of jobs. Some of the companies are coming like Jaro and all. They are coming every year to Kerala campuses. And we don't recommend this. We always recommend the students to get placed in the first two categories. And 4 and 5, and they are actually part of a product or services only, but differently mentioned just to understand. Startups might be knowing. They will recruit lesser in numbers. Probably you will get better exposure once if you get into startups. And the fifth one is core companies like, say for example, L&T Construction or L&T. L&T Limited. These kind of things. L&T Nuclear. Wind, like that. So different. Core companies are there who are working in the core engineering domain. Right? Companies like these companies, for example, Zia Semiconductors, we are working in the semiconductor field. These kind of companies are core companies. They are working in the core engineering domain. So just for your better understanding, these are the different types of companies. You need to identify where you need to get placed or where is your destination that you need to identify. That varies from person to person. All right, so you might have heard of the campus recruitment process from your placement officer, but most of you, I understand that junior students are also there. So let me tell you, this campus recruitment is actually a 4-step process. This is actually a 4-step process, right? You might be knowing, but still, again, for your better understanding. The first thing is you have to be eligible, meet the eligibility criteria. You have to be first get eligible. Right. If you're not eligible, there is no other question in that. So the first thing is you have to meet the eligibility criteria. Now, once if you clear the eligibility criteria, normally in terms of GPA, say 6 GPA with 2 backlogs, or 6 GPA with 5 backlogs, or say 7 GPA with 0 backlogs, that depends upon the companies. That is, we cannot do anything on that. That is defined by the company. Now, the second thing, once if you are eligible for a recruitment process, the next thing is, on the first day of the recruitment, they will conduct a screening test. That screening test is basically to filter out, cream set of students from a mass crowd. That will be normally a screening test, which is online or offline. That may be conducted. Most of the companies nowadays are conducting it online, right? Not offline. Very few companies are doing it online. And you will see probably in the upcoming years also. I'm sure that for the next S7 students, your entire selection process is going to be online. Your test, your interview, your GD, whatever, everything is going to be online. We are moving to a virtual mode of actually. All right. Now, that's about the screening test. I will tell you in more detail. Screening test, or the initial recruitment test, consists of two parts. The first part consists of aptitude, logical reasoning, and verbal. And the second part, technical round. Some of the companies will have a part only, aptitude, reasoning, or verbal, and some of the companies go for both. And there are some companies that are looking for B only, but very less. Right? Very few companies are purely conducting technical tests. Most of them will conduct both. Like you go for, see for example, TCS, or you go for Wipro, any companies that are conducting some recruitment drives in Kerala, you can see that there is a technical round as well. Okay, so our point is how to crack this technical round. Okay, now I will tell you in detail. Now the third is group discussion, which is optional. Most of the companies don't have. They normally conduct group discussions to check the communication skills, or the behavioral performance of the candidates, etc. So and so, or maybe for screening more number of to filter out more number of people, right? So I will tell you what you need to do in group discussion as well. And the last round will be, the fourth process will be interview, which consists of both technical interview as well as HR interview. Again, that depends upon the company, right? Technical as well as HR. So you have to clear, mandatorily you have to clear all these selection processes. And some of the companies will opt out some in between some rounds. Some of them they don't have technical interview. Some of them they don't have technical round of test, so and so. All right. So this is basically thing. Now I will explain one by one and how to crack all these 4 points. If you know points, how to crack these four. No, if you know some methods how to crack all these 4 points, then done. Then you are done. You are passed, right? And definitely you can get into that destination point, right? So I will tell you some tips. Now from here onwards, listen carefully. The first thing is eligibility criteria. All right. I hope you remember the 4 points. The first point, what is the first point? First point is eligibility criteria. And who is defining this eligibility criteria? Company is defining this eligibility criteria. All right. So my request to second year students or any first year students, if you have here, is junior students, is try to be safe by clearing all your back papers. If you have back paper, you will be in trouble. You will be ineligible for, I should say, most of the companies. I cannot give this suggestion to the current S6 students, or probably those who are going to recruitments. This is not demotivating. Why? Because there are a lot of companies who will consider people with back papers also. No worries. But that's what I told initially. You go to placement cell, try to identify the eligibilities criteria of companies coming to your campus, and to be in the safer side, try to have at least 7 GPA. This is for junior students. Try to have at least 7 GPA and no backlogs. If you are okay with these two, 7 GPA minimum, at least 6 will be okay, but still 7 with 0 backlogs, 100%, you will be able to attend 99.99% of the companies. Definitely you will be able to attend 99.99% of the companies. And rest, your selection is based on your performance only. It's not based on your marks. None of the companies will select you based on your marks. 100% of the companies will select you based on your performance in the selection process, company selection process, not based on your marks. You will never get any weightage for your marks. That's what I told you. It's not like your normal university examination. You have to prepare in a very different way. Right? You take it very serious. You have to prepare in a very different way, parallel to your normal studies. You have to spend some time. We are spending a lot of time in social media, right? We are wasting a lot of time. Sometimes it is useful, but most of the time it's going waste. But you spend at least 10% of time for parallel for the preparation of campus recruitments, that will change your entire life. That definitely will change your entire life. That will create an impact, right? That will make you a different person. That brings a different level of personality to you, believe, right? So anyway, you have time, you have a lot of time these days. Spend some time for this, prepare for that, right? That will change the end, that will change you as well as the world around you. That is mandatory, right? Now coming to the eligibility again, back defined by the company, we cannot do anything for that. But in addition to that, make yourself eligible to attend the interview. That is very important, right? Company will give some eligibility criteria. You cannot do anything on that. Your placement officer cannot do anything on that. That is fixed. Even the HR manager also cannot do. That is company policy, right? Then what you can do from your side, that doesn't mean that you are eligible to, no, you have zero backlogs, doesn't mean that you are eligible for the company. No, you are eligible only to attend the written test or initial online test. That's it, right? Otherwise you are not eligible. Now what you have to do is, you have to be eligible to get a career in the company. For that, your role is very important. You have to make yourself eligible. And how you will do that? The first thing, as I told you, self preparation. Spend 10% of your time that you are spending unnecessarily in social media for this campus recruitment placements. Please do that. Practice that. Right from today onwards or tomorrow onwards, practice that. Do that. You can see, you can feel the change. You can see the change. You can see the knowledge level of yourself. You can have some self evaluation. You can feel the difference, right? That is self preparation. The second thing is internships. Right? Internships is very, very critical. I used to connect a lot of job fairs and all as part of IEEE Kerala section. Right? Every year we used to connect job fair, and many companies are coming to job fair and all. And from my experience, I will tell you, people who have done very good internships, there are high chances of getting placed. There are high chances of getting placed. This is specifically for you junior students. You have enough time for doing internships and all. And most of the internships now onwards will be online. I know that. But remember, internship is not, no, I have seen a bad practice of paying 1,000 rupees somewhere in some training industry, training organization, and telling and getting a certificate as internship. No, not that. That's not required. Nobody will look into your certificates. Nobody will look into your certificates. You can have all your certificates in the file that you bring for a selection process, but nobody will cross-check your certificates. Believe me, you can ask your placement officer also. How they will identify that? You will tell that, sir, I have cleared so and so, I have certification here and here. They will ask some fundamental questions. They don't need to see the certificates. They will ask some fundamental questions. If you are able to answer, clear. Otherwise, out. That's it. Very simple. So now this is not like a 1,000 rupees paid internship that you are doing in a training institute, but instead this is something that you have to do in a real company, right? Reach out to HR managers. You can use LinkedIn for that. Using LinkedIn, you can reach out to HR managers, write to them, ask for an opportunity to do internship, at least say 1 month internship there, some part-time internships or so. Try for that. There are many students. I personally know many bunch of lot of students who are doing this process, and they will definitely get a chance to work with the company projects. It will be a very small part, but that is more than enough as a fresher. As a fresher, that is more than enough. More than enough, right? At least getting some exposure to the work that a company is doing. That is more than enough. You can share your experience in the interview. 100% is sure you will be selected. Right. So do some internships, especially junior people. Do some good internships, not paid internships. Some good internships. Reach out to HR managers through LinkedIn or maybe your placement cell or whatever. Do some good internships, long term. Do it very seriously. Definitely, you will clear almost 80% of your interview process. Third thing is projects. Do some projects. Do some minor projects. That is very, you might be having design project, you might be having main project. All in all interviews, believe me, I joined LBS in 2015. So when I came for interview in 2015 to LBS Center for the interview process, they asked me about my BTech project. Luckily, by God's grace, the day before I just went through my project report and all. Because of that, I was able to present it very well. Right, that's a significance. Your final design project, your final year project, everything is very critical. If you go for an interview process, probably after 10 years or 15 years, some people will ask that, right? So give importance to your projects, do some projects, right? Normally, nobody will tell you these points as part of campus selection process or any selection process, but this matters, right? This is very, very critical. This is very, very important. This will help you a lot. All right, so do some projects, do some minor projects, and participate in some project competitions. Even though it is not a big giant, great project, a very small one, but interviewer will come to know that yes, you are having that mentality. So he will feel that you are interested in doing projects, and he thinks that you will be fit for the company. That will create a lot of impact, not just the output of the product, but the impact that creates will be great. Okay, so that's all about eligibility criteria. What you have to do is make yourself eligible to attend the interview through the things that I listed here. And for you junior students, clear all your back papers, prepare, have some self-preparation, be ready, make yourself ready to clear the first criteria. And the second thing is this screening test. Right now you have to a little bit focus more here. Your problems will start here, right? I can see a lot of students who have 9 GPA but unable to clear the screening test. You can see among your seniors as well. Now I have 9. One student came to me and told that I have 9.6 GPA, but I couldn't clear the screening test of 5 companies. How come it's possible? It's because of lack of preparation. It's because of lack of preparation. Don't blame any other person for training and all. Believe me, training is not required. If you can sit in your campus, if you're eligible for engineering studies, 10% of that intelligence level is more than enough for preparation of these things. 10% is enough, but you need to spend some time. Time is more important. Self-preparation is more important, right? Maybe some people can help you through some training process and all, but believe me, rather than these training institutes and all, you can find excellent videos in YouTube. You take the topic, search in YouTube, you can find excellent videos where you can get shortcut methods to solve these questions. Everything is available. You just search in Google, you can find that. So don't just wait for your training and placement officer to give a training, a formal training to you people. Don't wait for that, but before that, start self-preparation. Okay, let me tell you, there are 2 steps. The first step is the aptitude, which consists of aptitude, reasoning, verbal. I'm repeating, the first part consists of aptitude, reasoning, verbal. Aptitude means, right, this is for shortlisting of a few students from a bulk, from a huge number. They need to shortlist very few. All right, so you need to clear. Now, what is aptitude? In aptitude, you can find some more like mathematical question. This is basically to check your mathematical reasoning ability. Yeah. So these aptitude questions are basically to check your mathematical reasoning ability. Right. The second is, I will tell you some main topics as well. The second is logical reasoning. That shows you, that gives you, that shows the critical thinking ability of you people. Logical reasoning ability of you people. So have you ever checked your IQ? If not done, please go and check your IQ. Right? There are a lot of online excellent platforms to check your IQ. Right? And there is a particular range where human beings, don't just the platforms will vary depending upon that, the values will vary. But still, let me tell you, those students who clear these selection processes, especially campus recruitment processes, will exhibit. They might have exhibited, good reasoning ability. Good reasoning ability. So companies are looking for this reasoning ability of the students. If you have good reasoning ability, you are in. Even though you have lesser marks. If you are higher marks but less poor reasoning ability, you are out. So what you need to do? You need to improve your reasoning ability. Reasoning means the way you think, your critical thinking ability. Right. That includes, logical reasoning as well as mathematical reasoning. Right. That includes logical as well as mathematical. A lot of materials are available, a lot of textbooks are available. What you need to do to improve it? Yes, you can improve your reasoning ability. You cannot measure that, I cannot come and tell you that you have, say, 10 quantity of reasoning ability, another person has 20 quantity of reasoning ability. It's very difficult. I can conduct some assessment tests and okay, I can tell you some scores, that's it. But this is something like, if you practice more reasoning questions, unknowingly your reasoning ability will improve. Your critical thinking ability will improve. Right. You can see, you can experience. I will tell you an example. Today, after the session, go and try to solve 5 puzzles. Take a puzzle, so maybe search Google, you'll get 5 puzzles. You will find definitely to solve 5 puzzles, minimum 1 hour. I'm sure you will definitely take minimum 1 hour to solve these puzzles. Right. But now you start practicing these kind of puzzles for, say, 10 days. Every day you try to practice these puzzles and all. So what you are doing is you are sharpening your way of thinking. You are sharpening your way of thinking. And on the 11th day, you just go and take 5 puzzles. You will be able to solve it in another 20 minutes. Yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible. That is proved. Right. So how you can improve your reasoning ability or your critical thinking ability? Through practice only. Through practice only. I cannot tell you tips or tricks for that. Practice only. Right. Try solving kind of questions, logical reasoning or mathematical reasoning questions. If you do 100 questions, yes, perfectly okay. If you do 1,000 questions, the best. If you can do, say, 5,000, best of the best. You can see the change, right? And day by day, you can feel the difference, right? So unknowingly, you will improve. Your critical thinking ability will improve. You will sharpen your thinking ability. That is basically a requirement. All right. And the second is, not coming to the second part. One more thing is the verbal ability. You have to read English newspapers. You have to, go through synonyms, antonyms, kind of sentence phrases, grammar. These kind of things is very critical. And believe me, in 2 or 3 days, nobody can do this. Nobody can by heart at least. No, it's not possible. It's a long-term process. Reading, you may be knowing some fundamental grammar and all, but still a lot of preparation is required. Verbal reasoning questions are there, maybe there for some of the companies. So the syllabus of companies will be different. Right. Understand first the syllabus. That's what initially I told you. Do a research. Understand the syllabus of each and every companies. Then prepare based on that. All right. So verbal. So 3 things comes under the first part. Aptitude, that gives the mathematical reasoning ability. Logical reasoning or critical reasoning ability questions. And the third is verbal ability questions. Right. I talked with the HR manager of one of the best companies in India. So I got an opportunity to list out an interview with that person. So that time I asked, why your company is not conducting any coding test? You are conducting only this reasoning test. Why so? How you can say that, a student who clears this aptitude or reasoning will be eligible for your company? Then what he told is like, the research work says that a person, if he is good in his reasoning ability, he can better solve coding questions. He can better solve coding questions. All right. So, his thinking ability, if your thinking ability is good, your logical ability is good. So, coding platform X or Y, that is different, but you will be able to think. So, X or Y, the coding platform company will teach you. And what you need to do is you should have good reasoning ability. Okay, so I'm not spending more time on this. So this is what I hope you might have get the clear idea of what I'm focusing on. Improve your logical reasoning ability or mathematical reasoning ability through practice. Okay, and the second is technical test. Most of the companies, the second part, once if you clear the first part, you will go to the technical part, which consists of probably coding for most. Most of the companies coming to our campuses are software companies, IT or IT related companies. So they are looking for C or C++ coding, or maybe in Java or Python coding programs. Write code in any of these languages. Okay, I will tell you in detail. You can also search for some past placement placement papers of the company. It is available. A lot of websites are there. Search in Google, you can find it. And here I am listing out some of the aptitude topics. Time and distance, their time and work, then Python graph, number series, probability, a lot of things are there. And R.S. Agarwal, Arun Sharma, these are some of the generally used textbooks as well. Okay, so I mean, probably I can share this PPT, then you will come to know about these things. But the syllabus of the companies, syllabus will vary from company to company, will vary from company to company. So that depends. See, these are the general topics. So just have a close look of these things. All right. Now, the next is logical reasoning topics on coding, decoding, or syllogism, or puzzle test, or statements and arguments, or statements and conclusions, statements and assumptions, these kind of things, latency questions, inferences. So these are some of the logical reasoning questions that you may face. So again, we have a logical reasoning book by R.S. Agarwal. You can go through R.S. Agarwal textbook. I mean, try to solve maximum questions. That definitely will help you a lot. And here goes the verbal, sentence improvement, then filling the blanks, then analogy, synonyms, then conjunction, then noun, adjectives, adverb. So that depends again. For Infosys and all, probably you can see that 40 questions are from verbal, only 15 from reasoning, and 10 from aptitude. Right? So that's a difference. So for Infosys and all, who are the mass recruiters these days, you have to be more aware of this verbal part and all. And it's a long-term process. I told you, all of a sudden it's very difficult. It's a long-term process. And coming to the next part, which is a technical test. Right? Technical test will be conducted in an online compiler. Probably company will give you a program. I'm telling about IT or IT related companies initially. Even though you people are from electronics background, most of the companies that you are going to, that's a general scenario in Kerala. You are going to attend will be from IT background. Even though you are going for embedded companies, for example, L&T Technology Services or these kind of embedded related companies, they are also looking for C programming. So without C programming, you cannot survive. Without C or C++, you cannot survive. You cannot survive. That's the fact. So that you have to accept that. So I'm sure you may be in the ground zero level right now, but you have enough time to build. You have enough time. That's why we are giving these sessions and all to make you understand the things that you need to study before attending the recruitments. Or if you are going to core companies like, for example, Zia Semiconductors, there you can expect questions from VLSI or analog electronics, microcontrollers, microprocessors. Even you go for L&T also, you can find questions from your core engineering domain. That is another part of technical test. For that, what I'm recommending is to do gate level questions that normally ask in gate questions, gate examination. So try some gate questions, you can solve that part. Okay, and in any case, for electronics people, C or C++ is mandatory. Java, not required. You can survive without Java, no problem. But CS students cannot, but you can survive without Java. All right? Python is again an added advantage. Why? Because most of the companies are now working in Python projects and all. So if you have knowledge in Python, then well and good. If you have done a very small project in Python, right away you will be selected from the rest of the people. All right. So the technical questions will be They will give, say for example, write a code in, to find the factorial of a number, or probably add two numbers. These are simple questions. Probably you will get, they will give you some patterns like that. You have to generate the pattern, questions like that. So they will give the question in the online compiler. You have to write the code and you have to compile it. And there are some test cases. You are not supposed to write the entire code. If you pass, say, probably sometimes there will be 5 test cases. Right, test cases are not known to you. That is set by the company. So if you pass, say, 2 test cases, if you're, say for example, 2 loops are correct, then you will get, say, 50% of the marks. Right. So your final score is based on the number of test cases that you pass. It's not based on your final output. No. Final output may be error, no problem. If you pass 2 or 3 test cases, that is more than enough. So test cases company will define. So you know how to write loops, how to do programming in to solve test cases. Without experience, it's very difficult. All of a sudden, if you're directly writing this in front of a company, out, you definitely will be out. Nobody can do that. Your experts can also do that. For that, practice is required. Okay, and believe me, some of the companies, they will ask you to write code. Some of the companies will give a part of the code and you are supposed to fill the remaining. Right, that is also possible. And some of the companies, they will ask for multiple choice. They will give a code, they will ask for the output. They will give a loop, they will ask the output. These kind of different kinds of questions they will ask. Okay, and please accept, you have to be familiar with the below mentioned 4 languages. Being electronics, I recommend 1, 2, and 4. C and C++ is mandatory. There is no other question in that. At least C. The platform company is providing for you for test will give an option to select any of these languages. You can select any of the languages. Either some of the students will write in C, some others will write in C++, some others in Python. No problem. Company has no issues on that. Right. But you have to write. That's it. So try to be strong in at least 1 or 2. I recommend at least in C and C++ and Python. All right. So, for CS students, these green things are important. Data structures, database management systems, networking, operating system. These subjects. And for EC students, whenever you get time, just go through articles of, through fundamentals of these subjects. Why? Because once if you go for an IT company, they normally will not differentiate between CS or IT. They will never ask during interviews and all. The test will be common for all. If you know these things, then only you will be able to compete with CS students. Right? Otherwise, for electronic students, it becomes difficult. So just go through that. I am not telling that it is mandatory. Just go through that, read, understand some of the concepts. That's it. And the red one shows those questions that normally, companies will ask for. Like companies like working in the core domain, core engineering domain of electronics. These subjects are mandatory. Analog, digital electronics, communications, signals and control systems, microcontroller, microprocessor. These things are mandatory, right? So you can expect questions. And what is the tip for that? The tip for that: do gate level questions. Do gate level questions. Some of the previous gate questions, then probably that is more than enough. Okay. The most important part is like anyone can do aptitude questions. Anyone can do logical questions. Anyone can do and solve verbal questions, but not all can do technical questions. Right? Only very few will be able to do technical questions, and those students will be selected. Very simple, simple logic. Companies are looking for those people who can solve a code, who are able to write code. Even though you people are going to embedded domain, you should know how to write embedded C programming. C programming is mandatory. So don't think that this is for some website development, nothing. Everywhere you need coding. Everywhere you need, for that, you just need the fundamental understanding of C coding. If you're going for some company where working in image processing and all, Python. If you know some fundamentals of Python, you are cleared. Why? Because I'm very sure that if I count the number of students, 100 plus students are here. If I count how many of you know C, how many of you know C++, etc. If I give a coding question right now, I am sure less than 10% of you will write. Less than 10% he will write. That is sure. That's not your fault, right? That's not fault of anybody. All of us will be in ground zero in the starting phase. From there, you have to step up one by one, each step, climb each step, right? So you have a lot of YouTube videos, lot of lectures available, tutorials available, PDFs, materials available. Or if you want, you can ask your placement officer to get some technical training to write how to code, how to write a code, right? This is mandatory for all, irrespective of the branch, mandatory for all. And hacker rank, in most of the companies, they will conduct their tests using hacker rank. Just create an account. I hope many of you people might be having, but if you don't have an account, search hacker rank in Google. It will take you to the hacker rank web page, web portal. Create your account, right, with a username and password. Log into that. You can take any number of practice tests. You can take any number of practice tests. It's not like coding that you are doing in Turbo C or Turbo C++ in your desktop. No, this is something different. This is something different. Don't try to practice in Turbo C that a thing using desktop. Rather, you try this for placement. This is very, very, very important in placement. I have seen a lot of students who have done, who have gone to computer lab, double click Turbo C, write some programs, or I am getting the output, but they are unable to clear technical test. Why? Because you have to practice here. And for that, the most recommended one is hacker rank. In hacker rank, only companies need to pay. You are not supposed to pay. You are not supposed to pay. It's free for you. You can take any number of practice. Here you can see there is a program to write hello world, to print the hello world. On the right side, you can write your code. You can submit your code. Right. Okay. And one more thing, you can conduct some some coding competitions within that. So I strongly recommend you people to form some small groups. This is what I used to recommend my students, and this is very much successful. This idea is very much successful, right? I used to tell my students to form, say, group of say 5 or 10. You form small groups. You have a lot of groups for other discussions in WhatsApp. You form at least one group for technical discussion. Form a group, right? Now, it's very easy. It's very, not so difficult. You can, one person can log into that and create a test. Make it open to all. Let all of them attend. Give, say, 30 minutes time. Company will not give you 1 hour time for writing one code. No, they will give you 15 minutes. Okay, starting you take, say, 1 hour. Take 1 hour, write the code. Check whether you are able to do the code. Based on the test cases, hacker rank will give you the score. If your score is very less, you need serious preparation. Prepare. Then again, do this. So do this as small groups. Form a group. You itself have to create the question. Default questions in hacker rank. You itself have to attend that. Do self-evaluation. Don't share your mark with anyone. Do a self-evaluation. If you are getting lesser score, means you have to improve. Right? If you are getting consistently for 10 tests, if you are getting at least 50% of the marks, done. 100% sure you will clear. 100% sure. There is no doubt in that. Okay, so form small groups. Try hacker rank questions. Practice. Another one, similar one is Hacker Earth. Hacker company. Some of the companies are using Hacker Earth as well. Here is another. You have to log in, and here is a question for writing the factorial. On the right side, you can write the code. You can compile and test the code. All right. So hacker rank also, it is not paid one. Practice is absolutely free in hacker rank. All right. And please try for this. Another one is a lead code, which is a paid one. You have to pay $35. I mean, normally for presentation, we don't recommend paid ones. Why? Because a lot of paid platforms are there. But I feel that this is good. Why? Because if you pay, then you will get the solution. Otherwise, it's not difficult. It's difficult. If you pay, it's but like $35. For 1 month. So what I recommend my students is to buy one user ID and share with others. Form a group and you share and learn. That's possible. So individual contribution will be very less. So lead code is another one where you can find, you can write, you can learn by yourself. You can even discuss with experts as well if it is a paid version. lead code. Okay, try for that. Another one is Quarter Byte, again $35 per month, but still it is again good. Discussions are possible in paid version, so you can try for that Quarter Byte. Okay, if required. That is another one that I am recommending. So these are 4 ones that I normally recommend to my students. All right, please remember, when we go to students and tell that, I mean, most of their students, some of them are very much interested in entrepreneurship and all, but their marks will be very less. This is a normal scenario we see among students. We will ask the students, see, you haven't cleared the papers, but you are thinking of big companies, being CEO of big companies. What they tell is like giving us back the examples of Bill Gates, Elon Musk, so and so. Right? They tell us that, sir, they haven't cleared their BTech, they haven't cleared their papers, but still they are on top of these companies. Yes, they are on top of companies, but Bill Gates, started coding at age 12. Mark Zuckerberg started coding at age 10. Elon Musk, Tesla top person, he started coding at age 12. And right now, you people are into, say, age 20. Do you know how to write a program to add 2 numbers? You don't know. Then how can you achieve all these things? So first, have some coding skill. At least some coding skill. Most of the cases, coding skill. Right? First, try for that. First, make yourself eligible or ready to write some of the codes. Then you compare with other. This is very interesting that I got this from Facebook only. I mean, from one post from social media only. Right? I copied it here just to make you understand. Don't just compare other people with their eligibility. I mean, their qualification or so. Try to understand at what age they started the coding skills and all. These people are having IQ range as normal people range, in the range of normal people. These people are not extraordinary people, but they started coding, right? So you people also have to start coding right today onwards, or you have to just start thinking right today onwards. All right. So this is about the initial part. Yeah, I'm sure I'm a little bit late. I will take 15 minutes of my time, 15 minutes more. I will try to wind up. But I feel that these things are to be conveyed. No, it's very difficult to cover all these things in 1 hour, but I know very well. But still, if you have time, stay back and listen to this. These will help you, a lot. Why? Because after 4 years, there is a lot of difference. Whereas you step into a good company and you are not placed, or you are not getting anything. That creates a lot. Your entire life will change. Your entire surroundings will change. The opportunities you get will change. A person who has a lesser GPA, but he is able to crack these competitive examinations and get into a very good company like Amazon. From Amazon, tomorrow he will go to a company which is bigger than Amazon. You cannot imagine. And campus recruitment is the shortcut method, the best possible method for something like an easy way to enter companies. You just go out and search for job. You can see the competition level. And tomorrow, because of this pandemic, the situations are going to be worse. Competitions will be very high. Very few people will get jobs into IT sectors or related field through campus recruitment. So competition will be very tight. So what I think is, companies are looking for skilled people. Skilled people means you should have skill in at least one programming, one language, in one domain, I should say, not just in coding language, in one domain. If you are skilled, if you are certified in that domain, yes, you can get through. Believe me, in the upcoming interviews, definitely you will face a question: how you spend your lockdown period. That's a sure question. That will be a sure question. Believe me, you will experience. Companies will ask. At that time, you say that I spend my time in Facebook or TikTok. No, what will be the outcome? How they will think. But rather than that, if you are able to tell them that I have done 3 certification courses through Coursera, no, that creates a lot of impact. Company will think that this person is best suited for the company. You will be selected directly. That creates a lot of impact. Right? So please practice, please practice, please practice. As your only method, you will get all your tutorials, everything available in YouTube or probably in Google search. Don't wait for your campus recruitment or placement officer to give a training for you. Start self preparation. Definitely, you will reach the destination. And quickly, the last two parts: group discussion and interview. I will wind up by discussing these two. Group discussion is not like a very it's optional. It's not there for all companies. Very few companies will follow this group discussion. I mean, it's something like they will call 10 people. They will ask you to sit in as say a round table, and they will give you a topic. Say 5 minutes before, they will give you a topic. It's a simple, very simple topics. 5 minutes before starting, they will give the topic. They will give 5 minutes for you to think, to align your presentation. Then you have to speak up. You have to express your view. Remember, this is not a debate. This is group discussion. You have to discuss in the group. And if you try to make it a debate, you will be out. Simple. Right? All right. So through group discussion, the recruiter is actually looking for your communication ability as well as your behavioral ability. Right? So if you sit something like this and you are not telling anything during group discussion, you will be out. The company will throw you out. But if you feel smart and very energetic, and if you are communicating, you are taking initiatives. Yes, I have a point here. So this is my viewpoint in this. Probably it may not be okay with other people, but still this is my viewpoint. So that if you are able to convey like this, create impact. So communication is one thing, and your behavioral ability, right? You have to sit very smart, very energetic, in a very good body position. That's very critical for group discussion, right? What is required is you should have a good habit of structuring your thoughts. Don't be vague or you have to order all these things. You have to structure your thoughts and present them logically, right? And don't try to argue. And there is a tricky method. This is not normally what I tell my students. The normal topics for group discussion is like demonetization, or I know last year when I conducted L&T interview, in L&T they asked, that person was from Mumbai, but that GD topic was Mohanlal or Mammootty, like that. So then I asked the HR, why you are giving such topics? Then he told that I don't want to check the intellectual ability of the person. He only told that I just want to know how that person is able to structure his thoughts and deliver it precisely. So that is very critical. That is what company is looking for. Okay. So the tricky method is list out some of the major topics. You try to write some essays, essay writing. If you start this essay writing behavior, then your thought structuring, restructuring process will be great. Right. Write to some one paragraph, or you take any topic. Right. Person X or Y. You just write. What are the advantages? You just try to write some essays. So essay writing is a tricky method. Then once if you are able, essay writing will give you a good habit of structuring your thoughts. Then the rest is communication. Communicate it by maintaining a very good energy level. Read more. Right. Be aware of current affairs and all. If you don't know anything about the topic, out. So current affairs, you should be a little bit okay. The population, the effect of population, effect of lockdown, the kind of things, you have to be very well aware of these kind of current affairs. So reading newspapers will help a lot. Okay. It's not a debate. Again, I'm telling you, you have to speak loudly and clearly. Your presence of mind is very important. All right. So before GD, very simple tip. Before GD, you stock yourself with information. You have to be updated. Current affairs, then historical topics, sports, arts, literature. Pick some relevant, main topics out of that. You collect some data. Data crunching is also, you collect some data, right? Tell the data in percentage. That will create an impact. You can say that, the current based on this research studies, 90% of this is like that. No, if you give the 90% a value, that the impact is more good. So you collect data and you present based on that. Now during GD, you have to understand the topic. You have to be very precise, and you have to be sharp. You have to communicate your views. You should take the initiative. Don't sit idle. You have to take the initiative, but don't be over smart, but take the initiative. Right? And you should have knowledge about the topic. So this is basically my short duration tip about group discussion. Okay, so I mean, probably if you have any questions later, you can contact. I can tell you more things regarding this. Okay, so I will wind up this session by giving some 6 tips on interviews as well. If you clear these 3 things, the last stage is interview. So this is again very important. So this is again very important. This is the most important thing again. So technical test plus interview part. This is going to be a very I mean, important part or step in the selection process. All right, relax. I will tell you 6 tips. Try to follow these 6 tips to crack any or to pass any interview. Okay, so I will share you later. I mean, one of my videos is in the process. So once it is over, I will share with you some of the tips to share. I mean, to pass any technical or any interview, career interview. Okay, quickly. I won't take much time. But being these are very important, I request your close observation into these points. You're listening into these points. Listen, explain here. All right, so I can classify interviews into three different types of interviews, right? I mean, interview will be either technical or HR only, but this is my classification. In an interview, the interviewer is basically looking for technical ability, analytical ability, behavioral ability. I'm reiterating your technical ability, your analytical ability, your behavioral ability. Right? Technical ability. How the interviewer will check? That is normally a tech interview. We call it as technical interview. Right? Interviewer will ask you to write some codes. Right? You have to write in a paper. You have to write the codes. Again, which one will help? Your hacker rank knowledge, your hacker knowledge, or lead code knowledge. Everything will help. And some fundamental subject. You have to read the basic textbooks. Then you will get some. They will ask what is a nested loop? What is the difference between a friend function and so and so, like that. Maybe they will ask some coding questions. Or they will ask questions from your core subjects. They will ask, can you tell me some applications of an RC coupled amplifier? How you will change the gain of an RC coupled amplifier? Right? What are the factors that affect gain of an RC coupled amplifier? And give me some applications of op-amp. Right? What is inverting and non-inverting in op-amp? These kind of some technical questions also they will ask. So 2 things, coding plus technical. And for easy people, electronics people, both. You have to be, that depends upon the company again, I'm telling you. Okay, that is technical. Second is analytical. Analytical means the interviewer give you some puzzles or some questions to check your mathematical or reasoning ability. He will give some puzzles. So what we did, like now our BTech times and all, we used to solve puzzles of Shakuntala Devi and all. There is a book with a lot of puzzles. We try to solve one by one. So that that's what I previously told. If you do more and more puzzles, unknowingly your thinking ability will sharpen. And tomorrow, if the interviewer give you a question, your answering will be very interesting. You will respond to that quickly. Why? Because you have already done 100 puzzles. So your way of thinking will be like that only. So unknowingly you will respond. An interviewer feel that your thinking ability is great, and that will make your process simple. Okay. So for that, try to solve a lot of puzzles and all. This is to check your analytical behavior, analytical ability. And the third is behavioral ability. And normally HR interview is to check your behavioral ability. So why they are conducting HR interview? To check your attitude, to understand you, to understand your behavior, to understand your way of answering, to understand your energy level, your attitude, your interpersonal skills. What is interpersonal skill? Interpersonal skill means your communication skill or your leadership skill, your ability to work in a team, people's management skills, everything, your personality basically. Right. So this is a third category, behavioral. Okay. All right. So I will tell you some 6 tips. I told you, right? Remember 6 tips. Okay. Here are the tips. Tip number 1. Tip number 1 is self-preparation. Again, for the same thing that I told previously, the tip number one is self-preparation. You have to do lot of research works before going to the interview. One thing is obviously the technical knowledge. That definitely, if you prepare for test, you will be technically good. No doubt in that. If you prepare for test well, you will be technically sound. There is no doubt in that. Next, what you have to do before going to an interview, you understand about the company. You search in the website, you search in Google about the company. You dive into the company website. Try to find the products of these companies, the domains in which the company is working. Before going to any interview, you just search the website of the company. Understand the company. One more tip: you can search in LinkedIn. You can find top officials of the company. You can find some of the very famous tweets of these people, top officials of the company. That will help you a lot, right? You can share these things during. Listen to me carefully. Don't read the slides. Listen to me carefully. Okay, if you read, I will tell you something more than what is listed here in the slides. So please listen to me carefully. So you dive into the company website, you search in LinkedIn or Twitter about the top officials of these companies, then understand their thoughts, some of the major points that they shared, and you can share all these things during the interview process. That will create a lot of impact. Okay, so understand about the company. Second thing is be ready with an updated resume. Again, 1 hour is required to teach you how to prepare an updated resume. I'm not going to that, but be ready with an updated resume. Probably if I get time later, if you have any questions, I can give you some tips on that. Okay, updated resume, prepare with. Probably your placement officer will give you a session on how to prepare a resume. Be ready with an updated resume. Okay, biodata, resume, CV, so and so. So a resume. And the third thing is be prepared with the necessary information to answer some of the frequently asked interview questions. That you have to do some self-preparation. Prepare before going to the interview. I have personally listed out some of the commonly asked interview questions, and I found that around 25 to 30 commonly asked questions are there. 25 to 30 commonly asked, right? If you are able to find answers to that 25 to 30 questions, then probably you will be able to answer. No, you will be able to perform excellent way, right? If you don't know anything about these questions, you will starting thinking about these answers there in the interview hall, right? The impact is different. If you're already prepared, the spot itself you will be able to deliver. That will be a great feel. All right. So be self-confident. Try to be self-confident. How you will get self-confidence? By preparation. The more and more you prepare, the more and more self-confidence you will get. Right? Be confident. All right. So that is first point. Not completed. I will tell you some of the questions. Some of the questions normally asked. I told you, right? Some 25 to 30 questions are there normally asked for interviews. This is not a technical interview. This is a HR behavioral interview. Okay. The first in 99 cases of the interviews, the first question will be, tell me about yourself, right? The first question will be, tell me about yourself. So that time, normally if you are not prepared, you will go there and you will tell that, yeah, my name is Nandan. I am studying there in 6th semester. My father is working there. My mother is working there. My hometown is here. No. That is not required. That is not required. The interview is looking for your professional skills. So you have to share your education, your experience. Experience means any technical experience. You may be a fresher. That interviewer also know that you are a fresher. But you can share any technical activity that you were involved. During your beta course, right? Then you might have done some skill development courses, some online courses or some internships. You can share all those things. Your professional achievements. These things you have to share in that. Not like your hometown, your parents. You can add some points about your parents or your family. That's okay, 1 or 2 points. But otherwise, don't be elaborate, right? Give more focus on your skills, your professional achievements, and so. And one more thing, don't make it very lengthy. Don't make it very lengthy. Because it is always recommended to stop in 1 minute. You have to complete your answer in less than 1 minute. Tell me about yourself. Okay, so you just prepare. If you know some 8 points to answer this question, within 1 minute you will be able to answer in a very excellent way. Right? That will create a huge impact. First impression is always the best impression. Yeah. So the next, so these are also some of the questions. I don't have enough time to tell you answers of all these. So please go back. You search in, Google. You can find a lot of answers for this. Interviewers will ask for, why do you want this job? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Right? Give for more stress on strengths and less stress on weaknesses. Then tell me about some challenges that you have faced during your any past experience. Even though you are a fresher, you can share your challenges that you have you faced while conducting your technical fest, so and so, any technical activity, right? Then another important question is, why should I hire you? That is a very, very critical question, right? You please spend some time, or write to me later. I can tell you some of the tips to answer these questions. All right. So this is tip number 1. We don't have enough time. That's why. So tip number 2 is maintain good energy level and communicate effectively. Remember, tip number 2 is maintain a very good energy level and communicate effectively. All right. You just consider, you are sitting in front of the interviewer and you are sitting like this, right? Then the interviewer is asking, hi, tell me about yourself. Then you are simply sitting like this and you are telling that, hi, my name is Nandan and I'm studying here, I'm doing so and so. Is that good? Or if you answer like, hi, my name is Nandan, I'm studying here in the 7th semester of computer science engineering here in this institute, and I have said so and so, I have done so and so, I have a lot of experiences in this field, I have a lot of experience in this field with a lot of hand expressions and all. If you smart, like, if you respond like this, that will create a very good impression, right? So you have to always maintain a very good energy level, right? Energy level is very critical, right? So don't sit like this. You have to be very open. You have to maintain a very good energy level and communicate effectively. Even though some grammatical mistakes are there, no problem. Make sure that the other person is coming to know about what you are conveying. That's it. Some grammar mistakes will be there. No, neglect that. No problem. So communicate effectively. So interviewers are looking for your ability to communicate your thoughts, your emotions, your stories and experiences to them. Interviewers are looking for that. Again, I'm telling that, listen to my words, not the slide. Right? Think, listen to my words and think. So interviews are basically looking for your ability to communicate your thoughts, your emotions, your stories, these things. So what you need to do is understand the right strategy on how to answer those questions. Understand the right strategy. Again, self-preparation is required, but with self-preparation, maintain a very good energy level and communicate effectively to the other person. Both physically and mentally maintain. You relax, take enough rest before the interview. Come with a very fresh mind. Right? Be very happy with a very positive thoughts, with a very good, positive physical and mental energy level. Right? And always try to list some real life examples as well. Some of the issues that you faced during your BTech course, or some of whatever it is, let it be a real life example. That will create a lot of impact, right? Okay, so that is tip number 2: maintain good energy level and communicate effectively. Tip number 3: we have 4 more remaining. We have total 6 tips. Tip number 3: maintain a very good body language. Body language, right? Body language means it's not just the way you are sitting. No. The way you smile to others, the way you answer to others, the way you sit, the way you stand into the interview room. The way you walk into the interview room, the way you stand, the way you sit in front of the interviewer, everything that matters, right? Physical. Basically, your body language will create a mental connection with the interviewer, right? If you sit with a very open body language, sitting like this with a very pleasant smiling face, that will connect, that will create, that will build a very positive connection between you and interviewer, rather than sitting something like this. right? So the way you sit, the way you smile, the way you stand, the way you answer, your body expressions, your facial expressions, everything, you practice that. All of a sudden, it will never come. And it is very difficult to manage there itself. So practice that. No, those days when I was doing my BTech, I used to stand in front of the mirror and I will try to answer these things in front of mirror to make myself understand the way of answering my negatives and all. So that's very important. No, always maintain a very good eye contact. Right, eye contact is very critical. Don't look somewhere else and answer. Eye contact is very critical. You have the posture, the way you sit. Right. There may be some unnecessary movements like leg movement or hand movement. It's very hard to stop that, but practice, then that will be perfectly okay. If you don't practice, unknowingly you will do all these things. That creates a bad impression, basically. Okay, that's it. So do some good hand gestures. Speak to the interviewer with a very positive, open-minded, good body language. Okay, that is very, very important to clear the interview. That is tip number 3. And coming to tip number 4, keep your answers sure, positive, and concise. Don't read the slide. Listen to me. Keep your answers sure, positive, and concise. Sure means don't tell lies. Don't lie. Right. Give only real life examples. Don't create examples. Don't tell lie. Right. Don't try to lie in front of interviewer. So be sure, positive. Don't try to criticize anyone. Don't try to criticize anyone. Don't try to criticize your faculty or any other people. No. Don't try to criticize any system, maybe government or anything. No. Be positive. Right. Make the interviewer understand that you have learned a lot from your past bad experiences. That's it. And don't list these bad experiences. No. Don't speak anything negatively. Be very positive and concise. Right. Concise doesn't mean that you have to answer in 1 or 2, 3 short words. No, then you will be out. Just convey whatever you need to answer. As that is required to answer your point. Don't elaborate, beating around the bush, blah, 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 giving unnecessary answers. No, be very concise, but not in 2, 3 words. That is required. I hope you understand what it is. Okay, and please remember, interviewer is sitting there and thinking about what can you do for the company and not like what I can do to help this person. No. So don't say that I'm from a very poor economic background, so I am in need of this job, so please give me this job. These kind of things, don't do that. No. So be very positive and give some examples. That's it. Okay. All right. So tip number 5, last 2. Tip number 5, show the best in you. This is the best opportunity to show the best in you. Right. It's kind of selling yourself, marketing, selling yourself as the best person. Right. Don't try to be a Superman or superhero. No. Then the other person will understand that he is giving some false information. That's anyone with normal psychology will understand. So don't try to be Superman or superwoman. Be a normal human being, but try to show the best in you. Try to sell yourself as a best person. Marketing, self-marketing, we normally call. Okay, that is required during interviews. Okay, so deliver yourself in a very confident, in a very positive, and a very proactive way. Right. So what make the interviewer understand what you can offer that the other people can't. Other people will be sitting outside. Make him understand what is the peculiarities, the speciality in you that other people don't have. Right? Think about your strengths, what you can do, your achievements, everything you have to think and collect all these, share it during the interview. Okay? And very, very, very important, make the interviewer understand that you are a quick learner and you are a team player. All companies are looking for the learning attitude. All companies are looking for the learning attitude of the student, right, of the candidate. So you have to show them that you are eager to learn. Right? Don't directly tell that I'm eager to learn, give me something I will learn. No, not like that. Then they will think that tomorrow you will be going for higher studies even if you get the offer. No. you have to tell them that once upon joining a company, you are very much hunker to learn new technology. So you are more eagerly waiting to join the company like that. Show them your learning attitude. That is very, very, very correct. Okay. So that is show the best in you. Make your, show that you are a good learner, you are a good listener, you are a good team player, your learning attitude, everything. All right. And the is last tip is come prepared with some questions. Some questions, right? Normally. Have a list of questions. And these green ones are the normally asked questions that you can ask those questions. And red ones are don't ask those kind of questions. Right? You can ask like, what is a goal? No, previously coming to the company, you will check the website, right? There you will get some questions. In the website itself, you will get some questions. Okay. So what is a goal you are currently working toward, or how will my performance be evaluated? So what opportunities for advancements or additional duties would I have there? So what are the different career paths in your department? These kind of questions you can ask about your growth, your career growth there. Don't ask like, can I work from home? Or when will I get my first salary increment? These kind of questions preferably you avoid during interviews. And please remember, don't ask too many questions. Then the person will think that you are kind of having a questioning attitude. Don't ask too many questions. Maybe one or two questions. That's it. That's more than enough. So these are some 6 tips. I have actually to elaborate a lot. I can take a 3-hour session on these tips, some more important points. But now I have completed another. I have completed in just 15 to 20 minutes. So because of the time constraint and all, probably you can write to me if you have any questions in that. Okay. So please understand, there is no one way an interviewer asks questions and an interviewee answers those questions. Be yourself and let your personality shine. Right? Be yourself and let your personality shine. That is required. All the very best for this, for your campus recruitments. And thank you so much again for this opportunity extended to me to address students of Georgia Engineering College. It was, very much delighted to be here to share some of my experiences with you. I can take a couple of questions if time permits. Yeah, over to you.
Yeah, so thank you, sir. And everybody, please feel free to ask your doubts and clear them. And in the chat box, I see a few questions. Sir, if I may, can I ask you that?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, so Midun Ramachandran, I think that's the name. So, he asks, does CGPA matters when there are much more who are qualified by performing well at interviews and recruiters have to choose among them? Surya has also asked the same question.
Yeah, CGPA, regarding CGPA, right?
Yeah.
My experience is CGPA has no role. No role. I told you. So company is looking for some other things like your learning ability, your technical knowledge, those kind of things. So from my experience, CGPA is not at all a criteria for. It's just for make you eligible to attend the process. That's it. So it doesn't matter if you have higher GPA. You are not going to. Probably that will be there in government departments. But coming to a company, that company will never recruit you based on CGPA. It's all based on your technical knowledge, what you deliver during interviews, as well as the performance of your test. That's it. Yeah. Hope I have answered. Yeah.
Okay. And another question is, which program is essential for civil engineering students?
Civil engineering students, you are not supposed that's again depends upon the company you are attending. Civil engineering students, you have some CAD or some similar softwares like that. So if you are going to your own companies working in your own domain, then you have to be well aware of CAD or all other similar softwares that you are using. All right. Don't get bothered about C or C++ or all these kind of things. Don't get bothered about that, especially for civil engineering students. But now There are some students, civil engineering students, who are looking for software jobs or other type of jobs. If you are looking for IT or IT services related companies, then probably this is very, very important. C++ or Python, this is very important. And from my experience, less than 10% of students will be but still there are some students, civil students, who learn a lot of programming for C or Python, like that. So depends upon which company you are going to attend. That's it. Yeah. So hope I have answered.
Okay. And another question is, which operating system is best fit for programming for now in our today technologies?
Operating system, it's not operating system for you. Again, that depends upon the company. Probably people are, operating system, coders will be more preferring, Linux and all. It's not based on the operating system, but for you people, what you have to do is you have to take some online compilers like HackerRank or Hacker Earth kind of online compilers for you to practice and all. Now, the operating system and all, that depends upon the work, the domain, or the company you are working. So for the time being, you are not supposed to focus on that. You have to focus on online compilers for your preparations. That's it. Yeah.
And I think this question is regarding the HR.
Sorry.
The coming question is regarding HR, I believe.
Okay.
The question is, how do you state your weaknesses without making yourself look bad?
Can you repeat the question? It's regarding
HR section, when we state our strengths and weaknesses.
HR, right? HR.
Yeah, when we state our weaknesses and strength, how do we state our weaknesses without making ourselves look bad?
It can be like, Don, it's based on like, coming to a HR interview, that person is looking for a person with a very good behavior, right? So there, if you say that I'm a very lazy person, no, can you imagine how the interviewer will take that? You are a very lazy person, then how the company will select you? On what basis the company will select you? Right. So don't say those answers that is going to harm yourself. But rather than that, you approach in a very tricky way. Tricky way in the sense, you can see that you are a very, you are a perfectionist. These are not some normal answers that we follow. You are a perfectionist. Perfectionist is in some way it is negative, but in some way it is positive. So give your negatives in such a way that you have some positives in that. You're a hard worker. You're extremely hard worker. You're over dedication towards something. These kind of things you can these kind of points you can list out, but make sure that list out those weaknesses which is in other way strength, other way. Right, not complete weakness. In one way it is strength, other way it is weakness. You express it as weakness in front of the interviewer. That is the trick to solve that, to crack that question. Yeah.
Okay, sir. And now everybody feel free to ask more questions. And please unmute your mic instead of just leaving and typing the question in the chat box.
So this is my mail ID. If you have any questions or if you need to contact have any support required, you can please feel free to write to me also. nandan@ieee.org. You feel free to write to me. I am more than happy to support you.
Yeah, there's another question.
Yeah, please.
Which program is best fit? I think for junior students, I believe. I don't
Okay, there is no specific answer for that. Which programming is best? No. Whenever you go and attend a technical interview, a technical interview or a technical test, a company will give you a provision to choose any programming language that you are supposed to do. And most common of them are C, C++, Java, Python. Okay, and the thing is that most of the students, they will try to write program in C. But from my understanding, if you learn Java, you can write the codes in a better, simplest way as compared to that done using C. But we will never mandate anyone to do that. It's based on your interest only. But make sure that mandatorily, at least you should know C, at least. And if you are able to learn C++ also, C and C++, right? Karim. Why? Because in C++ it is object-oriented programming. So object-oriented programming is you will face questions from that. Is very important. But it is always good. It is an added advantage if you go for Java and all. Why? Because you will be able to write better programs in a better way, in a very simple way, if you know the concept of Java and all. So it's based on your interest. There is no best one. It is best one for you, but and at least you should learn C or C++, especially for EC people, electronics people. CS people, Java is mandatory. You have to learn Java. If you know Java, you are in, no doubt in that. If you know how to write Java coding, you are in. Python is also, very good one, another good one. Yeah.
Yeah, and the last question we have, I believe, is will we have to learn many programs or just concentrate on one program in detail?
See, my viewpoint. I will share my viewpoint. It is something like what normally we give a suggestion to the students is like, rather than being the best one, the top in one coding language, try to be, say, in the top 25% of 2 or 3 coding languages. That's my suggestion, right? I normally ask all my students to try to be don't try to be expert, but at least try to be in the first 25% at least in 2 or 3 coding languages. Right. Don't try to be the best in one. Why? Because if you are trying to be the best in only one, you may not be knowing anything about the other things. But the other one, if you know multiple, that shows your eagerness to learn. Right. That the company, if you are attending a technical interview, that creates a lot of impact. So it's not based on the best in one. I recommend try to be good in multiple. That's always recommended. Why? Because you can combine all these things. You can explain in a very better way by combining inputs from all. That's always that creates an impact. Yeah.
Okay, I believe that's the end, I guess. So thank you, sir. And I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to you who took out the time and to spend a few moments and impart and tell us the tricks of the trade so as to get more information and knowledge. So thank you, sir. And a
Thank
special
you so
thanks
much.
to And a special thank you to Mr. Naveen N, Assistant Professor from Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology. And I also thank the Jodhi Engineering College Management, the Principal, and the HOD for the support. And I extend my thanks to the IEI and ECSA coordinators, Ms. Bindu K. Rajan and Mr. Ponmani Raja, and a special thanks to Ms. Drishya MK for guiding us. I also thank the student coordinator, Mr. Rohit PV from S7EC for his support. And lastly, I thank each and every one of you who helped to make this webinar a success. So thank you everyone and have a great day.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you. Bye. See you. Stay safe.
Yeah. And kindly fill the feedback form in order to avail the certificates. So thank you everyone.
Participants, please fill up the feedback form. It's on the chat box. Please click on the Get Started icon. Then you will see each questions one by one. Thank you all.